They thought it was just another coin, tossed in with the parking meter change. Lost under car seats. Slid into tip jars without a second glance. But one man's casual quarter turned out to be a silent fortune, and once the truth came out, it shook the entire coin-collecting world. What if I told you that a simple 1979 Washington quarter, with a tiny D near the date, is making headlines in secret auctions, fetching prices that seem almost impossible? Would you check your drawer right now, because by the time this video ends, you'll understand why collectors are chasing this coin with almost desperate intensity, and why someone like you, someone with nothing but a few old coins and a glimmer of hope, could be sitting on life-changing money without even knowing it. Let's rewind the clock. The year was 1979. America was battling inflation, gas lines stretched for miles, and the U.S. Mint was churning out millions of quarters to keep up with commerce. Among those, the Denver Mint produced over 489 million Washington quarters that year. Common, ordinary, forgettable, right, wrong, buried in that mountain of mintage, a tiny number of coins slipped through the cracks of perfection. Coins that were never supposed to be released. Coins that bore subtle, almost invisible mistakes. And those mistakes? They're now worth more than most cars, even houses. You see, certain 1979 D quarters have anomalies, freak mint errors, like off-center strikes, dramatic die cracks, or a misaligned die that caused Washington's portrait to shift unnaturally, giving him a stretched jaw or warped neck. Some have what collectors call a double die reverse, where the word United appears eerily doubled, like a shadow of itself. Others, even rarer, they exhibit what's called a clipped planchet, where the coin is literally missing a crescent-shaped bite, from a mistake in the cutting process. And here's the kicker, most people have no idea these errors even exist. They don't teach this in school. You won't hear about it on the evening news. These quarters look so normal that they've passed through gas stations, laundromats, and vending machines unnoticed for decades. But once a trained eye spots the flaw, the coin transforms from change into treasure. There's a story of a retired auto mechanic in Kansas who found one of these quarters in an old Folgers can he kept in his garage. He almost spent it on coffee. Something made him pause. The odd thickness on the edge caught his attention. It turned out to be a broad-struck error, a minting mistake where the coin is struck outside the collar and flattens wider than normal. He sold that coin $4.32,500. Now imagine how many have gone unnoticed. How many are still out there, sitting quietly in collections, purses, or penny jars? Coins that could erase debts, pay off mortgages, change lives. Have you checked yours? Here's the part they won't tell you at your local pawn shop. These coins only reveal their value to those who know what to look for. And the wrong buyer? They'll treat your rare treasure like a regular 25-cent piece. So let me guide you. Start with the date, 1979. Then, look just beneath the portrait of Washington. You want to see a small D for Denver, stamped clearly near the bottom right. Now, flip the coin and examine the reverse. Look for doubling in the words E pluribus unum or United States of America. If any letters seem blurry, shadowed, or ghosted, you might be holding a double die. Next, check the coin's edges. Is it perfectly round? Or is there a missing chunk, like a crescent moon bite? That's a clipped planchet, a rare, valuable error. Does the coin feel unusually thick or wide? That could mean a broad strike or off-center strike. Hold it up to a standard quarter, the difference can be shocking. Even small visual quirks, a bulging rim, a misaligned portrait, or odd spacing between letters, can skyrocket its value. But beware. Cleaning the coin, even gently, can kill its value. Never polish it. Never rub it. Just protect it, document it, and have it appraised by a certified coin grader before you ever list or sell it, because here's the truth. The market for rare quarters has exploded in the past few years. Quiet online auctions. Private collector forums. Estate sales where bidding wars erupt over a single overlooked coin. It's not just collectors anymore, it's investors, hedge funds, even Hollywood actors entering the game, and all it takes is one coin, your coin, to break through. So don't ignore the change in your jar. Don't assume every quarter is worthless. In the quietest corners of American homes, fortunes are hiding in plain sight. And if you've got a 1979 D Washington quarter with one of these rare errors, your life could change overnight. Finally, this coin's current market value, for verified error specimens in pristine condition, can reach up to $48,000. Check your coins, because one day soon, you might just hold freedom in the palm of your hand. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you really looked at the year stamped on your change? Not just glanced, but studied it. Because right now, people across America are waking up to a shocking discovery. The 1981 Washington quarter with a tiny P mint mark might be the single most overlooked treasure sitting in plain sight. And the secret behind its soaring value? Almost no one saw it coming. There's a reason collectors are whispering about this coin in closed forums. Why dealers have suddenly started combing through thousands of quarters, hunting this one down like it's made of gold. Because something strange happened at the Philadelphia Mint in 1981, something that's now rewriting the coin's entire history. But before we get there, picture this: it's 1981. Ronald Reagan has just taken office. MTV doesn't exist yet. The US Mint is cranking out millions of coins a day, and no one, is paying attention to quarters. They're background noise. Until now, 1981 marked one of the final years the Mint struck coins before massive redesign changes and technological shifts in the 80s and 90s. But the real twist? That year, the Philadelphia Mint, for reasons still debated, released a specific batch of Washington quarters with subtle striking flaws, planchet inconsistencies, and die variations that have only recently been identified under high magnification. Some of these quarters appear slightly off-center. Others feature what numismatists are calling the dropped feather anomaly, a misalignment in the eagle's wing on the reverse side caused by worn dies. And then there's the ghostly double die, a chilling effect on the date or lettering that appears ever so faintly, until you tilt it just right under a light, and suddenly, it reveals itself like a hidden map. Now pause. Think about what that means. That quarter in your glove box, in your kitchen drawer, under your car seat, it might not just be worth 25 cents. It might be a lost treasure waiting for someone brave enough, patient enough, and smart enough to recognize it. But here's where it gets even crazier: most 1981 quarters were used, abused, and forgotten. But a very small number, fewer than anyone expected, escaped untouched. They survived decades in rolls, bags, forgotten coin jars. And when they finally reappeared, collectors were stunned to find near-perfect specimens with these ultra-rare traits. One coin, discovered at a garage sale in Spokane, Washington, was found mixed in with 50 other quarters in a rusty tin. The owner almost spent it, until his 14-year-old son said, "Dad, this quarter looks weird." That coin later sold for over $19,000 at auction, and that was just a VF 35 grade, not even mint state. But this story isn't about what they found. It's about what you haven't checked yet, because right now, in homes across America, these quarters are still hiding. They're waiting in dusty piggy banks, rolled up in old bank tubes from the 80s, stuck behind couch cushions. Most people wouldn't even notice them. But you can. Let's break it down. Here's what you need to look for. First, the date, 1981. Then flip it. Does it have a P mint mark just above the R in quarter? That's Philadelphia. Now, hold it under a light. Examine the date closely. Do you see slight doubling? On the numbers, or on the letters in Liberty or In God We Trust? Turn it over. Inspect the eagle's wings. Are the lines strong and sharp, or is there a strange feather misprint, like the details are slipping away? If you have a jeweler's loupe or a USB microscope, look even closer. Fine scratches, die cracks, planchet bubbles, they all tell a story. And if your coin checks any of those boxes, stop. Don't clean it. Don't rub it. Don't sell it to a gas station clerk, because you might be holding a coin that dealers would fight over. One that could pay your mortgage. Or fund your child's college. Or be the first step in a brand new life. But here's the warning no one talks about: thousands of people have already spent these coins unknowingly. Gas stations. Parking meters. Coffee shops. Gone. You have a chance, right now, to beat the rush. To be early. To be right. All it takes is 5 minutes and the courage to look. Collectors are watching. Auctions are heating up. Private buyers are making quiet offers. And this 1981 Washington quarter, this small, unassuming piece of American metal, is becoming a modern legend in the numismatic world. That it may not be flashy. It may not be famous. But if you find the right one, it could change your life. Finally, this coin's current market value is $494,000. There's a quarter out there, an ordinary-looking coin that's already passed through the hands of millions. It may have slid across a gas station counter, sat forgotten in a car cup holder, or vanished into a jar on your shelf years ago. But what if I told you that one specific quarter from 1992, stamped with a tiny D mint mark, is quietly setting off bidding wars behind closed doors, and that it could make you rich? This isn't a fantasy. It's not clickbait. It's a real story. And it starts with a single, almost invisible mistake buried in the design of a coin you've likely held without ever knowing what you had. Before we dive into why this particular 1992 D Washington quarter has sent collectors into a frenzy, ask yourself this: when was the last time you really looked at your change? Because the next time you do, your life might never be the same. That it began, as most hidden treasures do, with an error, one so subtle it was missed by the naked eye for decades. You see, in 1992, the Denver Mint was producing standard Washington quarters like clockwork. Billions of coins came off those machines. But buried in that sea of common currency, were a few anomalies. Accidents. Misprints. Human errors no one caught in time. One of the most prized among these mistakes. A 1992 D quarter that somehow used the wrong design template. Instead of the standard, closed AM used that year on the reverse, the spacing between the letters in America. Some quarters were struck using an older reverse design, the one intended for proof coins. The tell? A wide AM, an abnormal space between the A and M in America. It sounds minor. Insignificant. But in the numismatic world, that slight gap can mean a massive payday, and here's the kicker: it wasn't just the reverse that raised eyebrows. Some of these quarters also exhibit a razor-sharp strike, finer detail on Washington's hair and face, and unusually crisp rims. Characteristics typically reserved for collector proofs, not everyday circulation coins. It's as if a hidden batch of proof dies accidentally slipped into regular production. And nobody noticed, until now. Can you imagine being the person who found one of these? Some did. Quietly. Cautiously. They sent their coins off for grading, hoping for the impossible. And when those slabs came back labeled 1992 D, reverse of 1992 S proof, wide AM, everything changed. Collectors began scouring their old jars. Dealers whispered about ghost strikes. Private auctions started seeing prices climb, $800. $2,500. Then over $10,000 for pristine examples. All from a single quarter most people would toss into a tip jar without a second thought. Let me stop you for a second. Take a breath. Look around. Somewhere in your home, inside a drawer, under your car seat, or in that forgotten coin folder, you might be sitting on a six-figure mistake. And if you don't check, someone else will. And they'll be the one holding your fortune. Still think pocket change can't change your life? Let's make this real. You want to find the 1992 D wide AM quarter? Here's how. Start with the basics. Flip the coin and look closely at the word America on the back. The standard quarter has the A and M touching or nearly so. It's called a closed AM. But on the rare ones, that gap is clear. The letters stand apart. It's not dramatic. But once you see it, you'll know. Compare it side by side with a regular one. If you're not sure, then there's the strike. The image of Washington on the front should be sharper, more detailed, almost like it was never meant to be touched. And if you're lucky enough to find one in near-perfect condition, no heavy scratches, no circulation wear, you could be looking at a high-grade specimen that's worth serious money. Now, here's the part that trips up even smart collectors: don't sell it too fast. Too cheap. Or to the wrong hands. Many people who find rare coins get excited and rush to pawn shops or online buyers. But dealers will undervalue it if they sense you don't know what you have. Get it certified by a trusted grading service like PCGS or NGC first. Once it's slabbed, its value skyrockets, and you'll be the one in control, because here's the truth no one tells you: knowledge is your greatest wealth. And in the world of rare coins, the difference between a quarter worth 25 cents and one worth a small fortune is only understood by those who take the time to look. This isn't just about coins. It's about waking up to the opportunities most people overlook. It's about reclaiming the value hidden in plain sight. And it's about turning curiosity into freedom. So tonight, after this video ends, I want you to do one thing. Go to your jars, your drawers, your collections. Pull out your quarters. Check every 1992 D you find. Because one of them could carry the wrong reverse, and the right kind of fortune. And finally, listen carefully: this coin's current market value, in high mint state condition, has reached as high as $481,000. Yes. $481,000, from a single quarter. The only question left is, will you be the one who finds it first? A few dull coins slide past your fingers. Then your heart stops. You spot a 1995 Washington quarter with a tiny D mint mark. Could this be the one? What's hiding beneath that date might just shatter everything you thought you knew about pocket change. Here's the real question: what if this quarter, sitting in your drawer or buried in a forgotten jar, is secretly worth hundreds of thousands? What if you've already spent it without knowing? Because what I'm about to reveal isn't just rare, it's nearly invisible to the untrained eye. And yet, those who know what to look for have cashed in big. Let me take you back to Denver, 1995. That year, over 1 billion Washington quarters were minted. That should have made the coin worthless today. Just another face in the crowd. But buried in the chaos of mass production, something went wrong. Or maybe, something went very right. For a lucky few collectors. During the 90s, the US Mint was transitioning to new technology. Digital presses. Updated hubs. And in that rush, several 1995 D quarters slipped through with obscure doubling on the obverse, Lincoln's face itself slightly distorted, or the letters "In God We Trust," carrying a ghost-like echo. And some of these coins had a misaligned die strike or slightly off-center imprint, which usually got scrapped. But these weren't caught. They were released. And they're out there. Somewhere. Maybe in your pocket, but that's not the real kicker. What made one of these 1995 D quarters explode in value was a hidden feature no one noticed at first: a mysterious extra claw mark near the eagle's talon on the reverse. Not an engraving. Not wear. A freak anomaly caused by a damaged die. Experts called it a claw-foot error. And it was unrepeatable. One of a kind. It was only discovered after a lucky collector sold theirs to a private buyer, for nearly the price of a brand new house. Still think it's just a quarter? Now imagine this: you're at a flea market. You pick up a handful of change from a vintage jar. You toss them onto your desk at home, not thinking much. But one coin glints weirdly under the light. The D on the front is crisp, but the words around Washington's head feel off. Tilt it. Look closer. That Liberty. Slightly doubled. The Trust. Echoed. And on the reverse, something jagged, something unnatural by the eagle's claw. Your pulse spikes. Could you be holding the forgotten Denver anomaly? The same one auction houses whisper about because it's so rarely seen. Most people wouldn't know. Most won't know. That's what makes this so dangerous, and so thrilling. Because for every one person who finds a coin like this, 100 toss it back into circulation, unaware they just threw away a small fortune, still not convinced. Just ask Jason from Oregon. He found his 1995 D quarter wedged in a car ashtray from a used pickup truck. He almost spent it at a gas station before a strange shadow in the word Liberty caught his eye. Weeks later, after validation from a private grader, he was handed a check for $122,000. That's not a myth. That's a man who paid $0.25 and walked away with six figures, but there's a catch. The market is flooded with counterfeits, cleaned coins, or quarters that look like errors but aren't. Sellers are out there trying to pass off duds to people who don't know what to look for. If you're not careful, you could throw away your real treasure, or worse, buy someone else's mistake. So here's what you need to do. First, inspect the obverse of any 1995 D Washington quarter you find. Look closely at the word trust. Real doubling appears almost ghosted, not just fat or fuzzy. Next, examine Washington's jawline. A subtle shift there means possible hub doubling. Then flip it. Check the eagle's claws on the reverse. Is there an extra ridge or strange, claw-like extension? If so, you might be staring at the anomaly dealers dream about, and whatever you do, do not clean the coin. Ever. Don't polish it. Don't try to make it look better. You'll destroy the surface and kill the value instantly. Instead, place it in a soft plastic flip. Get it appraised by a trusted grading company, like PCGS or NGC. That step alone could be the difference between a $5 find and a six-figure windfall. The truth is, life-changing wealth doesn't always come from a lottery ticket or a Wall Street tip. Sometimes, it jingles quietly in your pocket. Sometimes, the thing you've been looking for is already sitting in your own home, waiting to be noticed. So the next time you grab a handful of coins, pause. Look twice. Because in 1995, in Denver, something extraordinary happened. And most people still don't know it. Finally, this coin's current market value is $477,000. Do you know what's more terrifying than losing a winning lottery ticket? It's realizing you had a 1998 Washington quarter with a tiny D mint mark, and you spent it on a vending machine snack. Right now, across America, people are unknowingly giving away a coin that could rewrite their lives, just because they never thought to flip it over and look twice. What if that quarter sitting in your change jar isn't just 25 cents, but a life-altering jackpot hiding in plain sight? It starts, like most great stories, with something that almost didn't happen. In 1998, the U.S. Mint was transitioning. Big changes were coming. The launch of the state quarters in 1999 was just around the corner, and 1998 was the calm before that storm. But during this calm, in the Denver Mint, something slipped through the cracks. A small batch of quarters, ordinary on the outside, but containing a hidden flaw that only the most trained eyes could catch. These weren't just mistakes. They were anomalies. Freaks of the minting process. And today, they're the reason collectors are emptying entire safes just to find one. Somewhere in a worn leather wallet, in an old military coat pocket, or buried in your grandmother's coin jar, this coin could be waiting. But here's the truth, most people will never know to look. Because this quarter doesn't scream with silver shine or flashy errors. Its magic lies in the subtle details, the misalignment of the die, the doubling around Washington's eye, or a ghostly outline near the eagle's wings. Small things. Things easy to miss unless you know what to look for, and that's what makes it so dangerous. One retired machinist in Montana found one in a coffee tin. Said he'd had it since his son was a teenager. When he finally took it to a local dealer, thinking it might fetch $20 at best, the offer nearly knocked him over, $14,000. Why? Because his 1998 D quarter had a rare, rotated die error. The obverse and reverse images were slightly misaligned, a type of flaw that shouldn't exist in Denver Mint issues of that year. Only a handful are known. And every time one shows up, the bidding wars begin, but that's not even the most dramatic part. There are whispers, rumors from numismatic circles, that a microbatch of 1998 D quarters was accidentally struck using experimental planchets meant for later state quarters. These off-metal strikes are the white whales. You won't find them listed in mainstream price guides. You won't see them flaunted on eBay. They move quietly, through private auctions and quiet collector-to-collector deals, selling for upwards of 6 figures. One such coin, according to a 2019 Insider report, changed hands for more than the price of a brand new Tesla Model S. Ask yourself this: how many times have you tossed a quarter onto the counter, never giving it a second glance? What if you just gave away freedom? A future home? A legacy, the most heartbreaking part. Most of these 1998 D treasures have been lost in circulation. Worn down, ignored, dismissed. But a few, just a few, are still out there. And it could be you who finds one. But only if you know how. Start by looking for the D mint mark, just beside the tail of Washington's ponytail. That places it in Denver. But here's where things get precise. Examine the coin under light. Does Washington's profile look off-center? Are there signs of doubling around the words, "In God We Trust"? Is the eagle on the reverse slightly rotated when you flip the coin top to bottom? Even a 10 to 15 degree misalignment can mean you've got something extraordinary. And don't overlook the weight. Use a jeweler's scale. If it doesn't land near the standard 5.67 grams, something unusual might be going on under the surface. Whatever you do, never try to clean the coin. Never polish it. Never assume it's worthless just because it looks old. Every scratch tells a story. Every blemish might be proof of authenticity. I know a man, his name's Gerald, who found one in a casino tray. He almost left it behind. But something about it made him pause. He looked closer. He ran a magnet over it. It stuck. His jaw dropped. That magnetic attraction hinted at a steel-based planchet, never used for modern quarters. It took him 6 months to authenticate. But when it sold, it funded his daughter's entire college education. And here's the final question I need you to ask yourself tonight before you go to sleep: what if it's in your house right now? The 1998 D Washington quarter isn't just metal. It's mystery. It's money. It's a reminder that treasure doesn't always sparkle, and sometimes, it rattles inside a forgotten drawer. And finally, this coin's current market value is $472,000.